call this meeting to order. Could we have a moment of silence, please? Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Councilperson Popchak?
Here.
Councilperson Boyd?
Here.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Here.
Councilperson Freshwater?
Here.
Mayor Riley?
Here.
Pardon me. Council President Demko?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Is there any public comment on the listed motions?
Thank you. Just a quick one. Sure. Jack Kabisnik. If you have any payments for those ADA grants, I would make sure that either the manager, I think Public Works has been out there and got to check. They damaged the new road on Marshall Avenue, and the road is definitely damaged. And it's to the point where I think that some of it's going to crumble within a year or two once you get some salt on it. Just in the areas where they had to redo the ADA ramps. So.
Is there any other ones?
I just know the ones, this was one in front of my place, so in front, there's four corners there.
Public Works has been there?
I don't know if they checked out the damage part, but I know they came there and did some seeding, but.
I'll work on the guide.
So this was from when, because they did them and then they redid them.
They did them, they redid them, and then they redid them. And when they redid them, the road was already paved. And so they damaged the paved road in those two intersections. And
They didn't restore it properly.
well, it's not something that they can I don't know if it's something that they can restore. It's more chipped, and it's something that if you look at it, it's most likely going to get a little salt on it in a couple of winters. It's probably going to start crumbling. And there's a pretty big crack there that they think you can just seal and it'll be okay, which I'm not sure. And the other thing is they need to get filled in quickly, because I feel really, I told you before, we have blind people that live at the end of that street, and they have to, and he almost fell once. I watched him because his dog can't navigate that. His dog can, it's because it's a gully's like this big, and his dog can't navigate that. And so if someone's not with him, he's in danger of falling. When you see it, you'll understand what I say, because it's not that big of a gap between the curb and where the cutout is for the street.
Oh, so it's still not repaired?
The ramps are repaired,
Yeah.
but the asphalt's not repaired. They're probably waiting, my guess is they're probably waiting for Public Works to do the asphalt when they're going to do other asphalting projects. That's my guess, but I don't know if that'll work there or not. But I just wanted, so that needs to get repaired soon, because
Well, I'm going to talk to Keith about it and see if he can go check them all out and see, tell us exactly.
Right. Okay. So I definitely would pull up any payments until you find out what the damage is to the road. I noticed it's going to be cost. I mean, they did redo them, but the road was already done after, and they redid them afterwards. So there's definitely some damage to the road.
That's one of our motions tonight.
Yeah,
Is that the final payment, Steve?
That's what I just asked him.
Is it the final payment?
There's two outstanding payments this month. One of them is for the contract had to be adjusted because the quantities changed.
Right. That's the final.
Yeah.
Okay, then we need to maybe table the final, Steve.
Well, we still have the bond, we should still have the bond on that also.
Yeah, we'll cover it. What's the one? Steve, why don't we just hold the final one?
I would probably look to the solicitor to determine it.
How much do we owe,
15,000. It's motion 3B.
and what is
was the total amount of the contract?
I don't have that number.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what is it that your engineers would indicate is the cost to correct what has been recommended.
And the bond might be greater than what the payment is.
Yeah, we don't know, that's what I'm saying, that's why we think you should table that.
Why don't we,
The issue is what your contract requires. Okay.
Do you know that, Steve?
I do.
Can we,
Mr. Solicitor, can we hold the lesser of the two amounts? Because there's two checks going to the same.
There's only one. It'll just be the motion 3B. That $10,000 is just a change order, and then that's the final amount, so the two will be together.
So it's not 25,000?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that you had a member of the public offering an opinion about the problem associated with this. And I think it should be brought to the attention of the engineer so that we can have some official word as to what the borough should do. Okay? So hold it until such time as the engineers had an opportunity to determine whether contract's been complied with.
so we can table.
Or should we authorize the payment pending final inspection by the engineer?
Well, that's all fine if what you're concerned about is having to wait another 30 days. I just don't know what your situation is currently. In other words, are you up against making the payment? Is the payment due tomorrow?
Actually, they were late. Forget about it. Yeah. It took them longer than their allotted amount of time.
My suggestion is that you have the engineers take a look at it and offer you a professional opinion about whether this matter is complete or not.
All right, and we're gonna table that. B.
And with all due respect, as a practical matter, you should have that recommendation from your engineer before the final payment's made in the first place.
We probably do.
They gave the recommendation last week.
That it's done in accordance with the contract.
Yeah.
And now what you're going to accept is Jack Kabistik's opinion that it's not done in accordance with the contract. Is that what you're suggesting?
You say it's just not done.
So,
The ramps
I
are
didn't
done,
say
the
it's not done. I didn't say
restoration of the roadway.
they damaged the asphalt.
Yeah. I think it's worth checking into.
don't disagree. Just telling you you'll suffer the consequences of that based upon what it ultimately is determined, right?
I guess we would need a contract, because the contract, we have to see, does it say it's going to restore the road?
And I guess all I'm suggesting is that's part of what your engineers should be providing you, okay? And they should tell you whether the contract is complete and whether the performance of, although there should be a continuing maintenance bond on that property, so, on that project for 18 months, so.
Can Steve find out for us what the bond is?
The total cost was $44,763.37.
And typically, the bond, Vince, is usually at least a
Should be
dollar above.
110%, should be 110% of the cost of the project.
That's why even if we
For
approve
18
this,
months.
we still have a bond. So that's,
That's correct. I mean, the problem is that you're dealing in the blind at this juncture. Okay? I mean, you have, I presume, your engineer has told you that it's ready for payment. Okay? And there may have been something that has occurred since then that Mr. Kabistik has brought to your attention. So I think you at least owe it to yourselves to find out what's going on. Okay. So table.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay, Mike, would you do administration, please?
Yes, Madam President. Motion 1A is a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on July 9th, 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion B is a motion to advertise the 2018 budget meetings for September 24th, October 22nd, October 30th, November 26th, and December 6th, 2018, if needed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion C, motion to advertise ordinance number 2452, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Part 4, Chapter 13, Section 402 of the Borough Code of Ordinances relating to licenses, permits, and general business regulations.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Steve.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachak,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko.
Yes,
Motion passes.
That's all I have, Madam President.
thank you. Finance,
Motion to approve the August 2018 bill list and bill list addendum.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachak,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes,
Motion passes.
Motion to exonerate lot and block 102-B-287, Logan Street, the Carnegie Borough Building, from the 2017 property tax payment.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Steve?
Just to make a quick note on that, Phil, that's, should be 2018, sir.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachak,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes,
Motion passes.
We just add a tiny bit of color to that when it just really doesn't make sense to write ourselves a check, cash and put it right back in our checking account for taxes for this borough.
Councilman Freshwater?
I move to approve change order number 1 for contract number 2018-03, 2018 ADA ramp and sidewalk project in the amount of $10,590.08, adjusting the contract based on final installed quantities, additional curb and sidewalk quantities.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Papachak,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes,
Motion passes.
I move to approve payment application number 4, final, to Insight Pipe Contracting LLC in the amount of $21,097.81 for sewer system repair work completed between June 30th and July 16th, 2018, for the 2018 Sewer Facilities Improvement Project, contract number 2018-02B, lining contract.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Papachak,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Mr. Freshwater, I'm going to suggest with regard to motion 3B that there be a motion to table payment application number 2 to Deepest Wall Construction Services LLC until such time as the issue that's previously been raised has been addressed.
Okay, so moved.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, it's good. You can- Yeah, so it's fine.
Second.
A motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I move to enter into an agreement with Sweet Construction Corporation in the amount of $145,000 for the construction of a 40 by 90-foot public works garage to be located at 1 Glass Street, CoStar's purchase.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I move to accept a proposal from Landau Building Company for the Williams Way Stabilization Project for Jersey barriers and fencing in the amount of $42,515.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I move to accept the resignation of Department of Public Works employee Richard Ruffnuck from the position of Assistant Working Foreman as of July 27th, 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Steve?
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That's all I have.
I think for public safety, code enforcement.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two motions this evening. Motion A, motion to approve the application of David and Tina Tomacheski for the lot consolidation of lot and blocks 103-B-230 and 103-B-228 as recommended by the Planning Commission on July 31st, 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Just to share with everyone, motion A, they're planning on enlarging their salon down here into a larger area with a spa area, and it's exciting to have an additional business attached. It's all going to be one big business, but something to look forward to. Motion B, motion to approve the application of the Carnegie Community Development Corporation for the temporary development of lot and blocks 103-R-154, 156, 158, 160, 162, as recommended by the Planning Commission on July 31st, 2018, Community Garden.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. Committee reports, administration. Tess isn't here, so Steve, you don't have anything for administration. Okay, finance.
The only thing to report from finance, I'll add color to it next week, or next month, but thanks to the work of multiple other council people and myself, we've concluded the negotiation of the police contract for the next 5 years. Good news about that is that the current contract doesn't expire until December 31st, so the pressure is off to get it done this year. I'm glad to have it behind us.
Code enforcement.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Public works.
Nothing to.
Public safety.
Just briefly, Madam President, I want to thank Chief Kennedy and all those that were involved with the car crews on Main Street. It was a great success. Fortunately, the weather was fantastic that day. I'm sure that the fire department is very thankful also with what the police department does and helping with the 5K and now this event. So it just it was a terrific day. I was there for a couple hours. The turnout was fantastic. Just people walking through, looking at the vehicles. And later on that evening, I returned to the area and to see cars still there and socializing at the different businesses and stuff. So I just think that it was a great thing. I wanted to thank the chief.
I have nothing to report tonight. Managers?
I have no report this evening.
Fire department?
Yes, Madam President. We had 102 ambulance calls for this past month, and let me pull up the fire calls here. I apologize. We had 14 fire calls.
Mayor's report, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. The police activity for the month of August 2018 is as follows. Criminal arrests and citations, 24. Traffic stops, 56. Traffic citations, 58. Parking tickets, 188. And complaints and self-initiated activity, 806. Something that I wanted to highlight that's going on this month, actually this Friday, August 17th at 6:30, is the Carnegie Boys and Girls Club is having their 10th annual comedy night fundraiser, and that's located at the Pittsburgh Airport Marriott. And just to let you know that the proceeds from this fundraiser are used to provide summer camp scholarships for the local children who are in need of financial assistance. And it also supports the teen employment program. So if you'd like more information on that, you can contact Dom at the Boys and Girls Club. And tickets are $75, and that includes the food and the show. Can't even believe I'm going to say this, but summer is actually beginning to wind down. And Monday, August 20th, Carlington School District has its first day of classes. And I just thought it would be appropriate this month to highlight that, back to school means back to sharing the road. School days bring a lot of congestion, and it's never been more important for our drivers to slow down and pay attention than when our kids are present, especially before and after school. So just to review a few precautions that go a long way toward keeping our children safe. Do not block the crosswalk when stopped at the red light or waiting to make a turn, forcing pedestrians to go around you. This could put them in the path of moving traffic. In school zones, when flashers are blinking, stop and yield to the pedestrians crossing the crosswalk or intersection. Always stop for the school patrol officer or crossing guards holding up the sign. Take extra care to look out for children in school zones, especially near playgrounds and parks and residential areas. Never pass a vehicle stopped for pedestrians, and always use extreme caution to avoid striking pedestrians where there may be, no matter who has the right of way. Also, if you're driving behind a bus, allow a greater distance than you were if you were driving behind a car. Never pass a bus from behind, especially if it's loading or unloading children. If the yellow or red lights are flashing and the stop arm is extended, traffic must stop. The area 10 feet around the school bus is the most dangerous for children. Stop far enough back to allow them space to safely enter and exit the school bus. And just always be alert. Children can be unpredictable, and they tend to ignore hazards and take risks. So I think that if we focus on exercising a little extra care and caution as we get back into the start of the school season, drivers and pedestrians can coexist safely in our school zones. And just to let you know that between Franklin between Charles and Washington Avenue, and Capitol Drive between Beechwood and Washington Avenue, those are road closures, 7:45 to 8:45 in the morning and 2:45 to 3:45 p.m. I live a little bit off Washington Avenue, and people speed down there like you would not believe. And I just, Chief Kennedy and myself, we put the speed signs up, there's pedestrian crossing signs, but I just thought it was something good to raise and bring to everyone's attention as the kids go back to school. So I wish them a safe and happy school year, and that's all I have for this evening, Madam President.
Public comment?
I'm a little nervous. I'm Carrie Pancake. Nice to meet you, Stacy. I have been, I think I've talked to the borough manager before a few years ago on different topics. But in a nutshell, I live at 505 Flynn Avenue, and probably 20 feet from my house is another house, and there's a garage adjacent to the house where the son-in-law, William Driscoll, comes and he fixes any type of small gas-powered motors, lawnmowers, weed whackers, generators, leaf blowers, you name it. And he's been doing it for many years. It ramped up when his father-in-law passed away and his mother-in-law moved out. And I've, made formal complaints, I think twice. I've talked to Terry Roma a few years ago, my husband and I both, and nothing really happened. And then a few months ago, I brought up to the mayor's attention, and also Greg, I believe, who came up right away and just, looking around and just, really helped. And obviously, Mr. Driscoll got word through the grapevine because he did, his actions wane there for a little bit. But then he ramped up, and I was told to, document, video photography. I wish I could document the smell that comes when you're trying to sit out on your patio. Just this evening before I came to my girlfriends came in from out of state. We're flying out to my friend's wedding tomorrow, and I had to close the windows and couldn't sit out on the patio. And he now at this point, he's the only person in the world I think that hates me, and it's sad, because it really, he was a friend. His wife was very lovely, and it's just a shame because he saw me videotape and he's, ranting and he's enraged, and I'm sure I'm, cramping his style and he's making some cash and, doing his thing. But I'm just here to verbally show you the squeaky wheel that's helping for the grease. And like I said, it did wane for a while, but now he put a fence up so I can't, videotape. But I'm finished documenting because it's just like it's taking energy from me and negative energy, and I'm, it's already too much, and I'm getting ready to invest in my home, redoing the kitchen, and it's just kind of like, I don't want to move. I don't want to leave the house. I've been there for 12 and a half years, and other than that, it's a beautiful place to live, and I love Carnegie, and so I'm here just to show you the face of the complainant. Okay, well, thank you all for your time. Thank you.
So maybe if there was, because we did take some action to send them up and at off times, maybe we could, is it mostly in the early hours again, or
It's any time, and he no longer, used to have like where people drop off stuff, unless it's a riding lawnmower, they'll drop that off, or he'll ride with the trailer. But now you just see him coming in, and it could be 3 or 4 times a day with 2 different lawnmowers in the back. That's pretty obvious because, if you have just a lawnmower, weed whacker, you don't need, half a dozen other ones every single day. And, he'll even, now he gets right by my house, he'll just take a weed whacker, whatever he has, and it's right there. And it's just like, and I wish he could, for him, I feel for him too, because it can't be fun. I want him to enjoy life, but it's just, not working. Thank you.
Aren't you supposed to have a license to do business in your town?
Yeah, also it's
Does he have a
residential,
license?
it's R2 residential zone, so it's not.
Does he have a license?
No, it's all cash, it's not, yeah.
And this has been going on for...
Yeah, years.
Okay, great. And you keep your home beautiful,
Thank you.
really. Like, always the nicest people.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice place.
Steve, just get Terry and Greg back involved and out there again. That's okay. Thanks. Yep.
How's it going? Hey, listen, we're here to bring to light an issue that we think is at least worth talking about, which is closing a street.
For anything.
Well, right. A merchant looks for a location. Pretty much is a lifeline. Flows a street, you cut off the lifeline. Now, We all have programs, there are all wonderful things that we do in town, we support each other, it all works. Please, if you're going to close the street, consider alternatives. Maybe a parking lot here, a parking lot there, make it a different thing. But I guess the thing is, if you close the street for an all-day event, I'm done. Now, I'm not going to speak for any other business because I don't know how they work, but I know how ours works. It shuts us off. Do it in the morning, off hours. People, the streets are open, the day continues as normal. But if you close the street all day, pretty much it turns me off without choice. Now, we all have bad days, we have good days, but to not have a choice is something that I'd like you all to consider. Programs are good, they benefit everyone. I support the community, we do. During the crawls, we pay for a band out of our pocket. Create excitement, we try to support what we can. All we're asking you to do is consider not closing the street. And again, I don't know if any other merchant has ever, said anything, but just think about it. I mean, just think about it in a logical manner, and you think, well, if you can't get to the store, that's probably a problem. And again, it's a great thing, programs are good, I love the events, we have a good community, but that will shut down at least our store. Again, I don't know how anyone else feels about it, but I know what happens when you do that. So we're just asking for a bit of maybe alternative solutions to, I don't want to end something, I want to add to it. So if we keep the street open and we put it here, put it there, and combine it all, now you've got an open street and an event. Now people come to town. Oh, they're going to close the streets down. Well, we better not go down there today. Believe it or not, that does happen. And I'm not saying it's a big thing or a small thing. It's almost irrelevant. But streets being open for a retail merchant is, in our opinion, really, really important.
And I would like to just say that I did share your complaint, because I know you guys reached out to me with council, and we discussed it last week. And I absolutely encourage the feedback, because that's how we work together. And so going forward, there are events, for instance, I know the car cruise, that we were thinking, can we do this maybe on a Sunday?
Alternative.
Or an alternative, because we do want to, our businesses are important to this community, and we want to work together with you. The problem with the one on the 15th is because so many things were already in place, and we tried to change it, and unfortunately, that can't happen. But what I want you to know is that going forward, we absolutely will not shut down Main Street, at least I can say for a car cruise on a Saturday.
Well,
you know what I mean? We do not want to upset the businesses, and we didn't realize it impacted the retailers like that, because I heard from a couple, and that wasn't the point of it. So I feel bad, and I wish I would have had that feedback a little sooner before the next one was in place.
So we didn't know.
And I get that, and it's something that moving forward would be a way to really support the merchants.
Well, one of the things that we spoke in council chambers about at our workshop was that in working with the DJs that'll be there that day, every hour announcing promoting business.
No, really, honestly, that's not, it has nothing to do with what the event is. It truly does not. Again, I can see, off hours, like the Sunday thing, absolutely, why not add a day to time? You know what I mean? Instead of replacing Saturday with an event, why not have Saturday and add a day Sunday, and maybe the merchants will make a few extra bucks? And, you know, and we get people into town an extra day.
And it's not just the day, people are habit driven, and if they come to a town and, oh, there's nowhere to park, and it's something that doesn't interest them. There used to be construction near my old house, and it was a big project. I went there once, it was blocked off a couple weeks, twice. I never went in again, and someone was in my car one day and said, why don't you go this way? And I said, oh, is it open? They said, it's been open for 6 months. I stopped shopping over there, it was just out of my habit.
Right.
Well-
So if you close them off from a Saturday, and God forbid they come for the next Saturday, that's also a car cruise, they'll never come back again.
So I think that, you know, I think everyone understands what we see from our end, you know, as well as, you know, what we try to see from everybody else's end and support everybody, because we work together, and it works. If we work together, it works.
And if you put it on a Sunday and have the businesses donate a portion of the profits if they're willing to whatever the event is, everyone would win. I mean, really.
I just think there are alternatives other than choking off that a day of business for any small town. That's all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that because the week after I had the open streets, and I went to the BBOC meeting, and a lot of businesses were not happy about the closures. So, but what I'm piggybacking on is that, you know, I like, you know, when we did the open streets was to highlight our health and wellness businesses. We have a couple new ones coming in. You know, Lenny across the street, he just sold his business to a ballet place. There's another ballroom dance coming in where the Latin place used to be. And then we have, you know, we have Burn, we have Dr. Mike, we have, so that's what we do with the open streets. But I do understand, and I'm more than happy if, well, on any issue, because it's not like something I have to do, but I just thought it's a good thing for the business community. It gives us a chance to be a little hip with, like the city of Pittsburgh, with the open streets where people can ride around. And we also highlight our skate park and miniature golf, you know, the things in our Boys and Girls Club, the things in our community is what we highlight. It's only for 9 to 1, you know, we had talked about it, but I think the fact is that with all the closures, it becomes a stress. So if you guys ever decided that you didn't want to do that, just let me know. I would be more than happy not to do it because it's one less thing in my life that I have to do. But I do think it is a good thing for the community. So
Yeah, I do think it is good to highlight,
different businesses that don't get highlighted.
Right. You know, everyone's going to the retailers and the restaurants.
Right.
And so I think it is nice to have a day to highlight the health and wellness businesses.
It's ultimately your
with the
decision, not
feedback,
my ops, yeah.
there's a way that we can all win. And it comes from you guys coming and sharing, you know, your feedback and you
Right.
share. We can make things so that it benefits everybody, so that it's a win-win. So if it's, you know, if it's a different day of the week, or if it's a different time, or whatever, I think we all need to be willing to work together to make that happen.
And I know, you know, one of the things that hit them pretty hard at the BBOC meeting is when they said that, hey, you know, we'll be closing for the open streets on September 22nd, then they slid in the car cruise on the 15th, so that's like they're going to close on the 15th, and then they'll close in the morning of September 22nd. So then it gets a little rough at that time. So I know that the BBOC meeting, that could be rough. But like I said, I'm not married to any of that. And I mean, you know, the things that I know you know, the events that I run, you know, the open streets, you know, with part of it, it's like the events committee. We run the open streets. We also run the Halloween promenade. We also run the light up night in the Santa Comes to Town. You know, I always consider those, you know, really important community events, but, you know, if any way you decided, hey, the open streets aren't the way to go, like I said, I'm okay. But I do believe the Halloween promenade is something that's been there a long time. We don't close down the whole street for that. We only close down for about an hour, about 2 blocks. You're in front of
From the railroad track to the
coffee company. Yeah. And it's about an hour and a half is what the closure is for that. And then for the others, we don't close down the streets at all. So, but whatever you guys decide, I'm more willing to follow your direction.
Well, those aren't all-day events.
No, the open
That's
streets, we should,
problem.
1 o'clock, we open.
Yeah. Yeah.
The street should be open, and it really shouldn't affect, there's only one business that it probably will affect, and that'll be Riley's for breakfast. But the last 2 years, Riley's seemed to be packed more at breakfast nor in the open streets, because we had a lot of traffic out there where people were just going around. So, you know, that would be the only place that I think would be drastically affected, would be the breakfast at Riley's.
Well, because I think their problem was the all-day thing.
Okay,
I mean, so
but I just wanted to throw it out there that I don't want to add to any of the problems. Okay, thank you.
I want to introduce myself, Donna Minner. I'm from 853 Kennedy Street, Carnegie. Haven't been to a council meeting like this for eons, but I feel that I have a legitimate complaint here regarding property. I live on Kennedy Street, that's between Kennedy and the library, so our garage is on Library Avenue. There's a house at 842 Library Avenue that is my understanding that this property is condemned and was to be demolished. There is still a sign on the door that states, "The building is unsafe and its use and occupancy has been prohibited by the borough official, Carnegie Borough Council, Inspector, Ordinance Officer," and it's dated, and I can't read it because it's worn down, it says 2-something-18, there's a violation right now. And I've been working with Jack and talking to Jack when he was the mayor. And my understanding from him that there was a line item in the current budget in 2018 approved for that property to be demolished. Someone had that premises cleaned out in April of 2018. Last Thursday on August 7th between 7 and 8 p.m., a young couple with a very small child, along with 3 foreign men, moved in a stove into that house. Now keep in mind, before my husband was in the garage and saw this happen, he went up, there was a hasp padlock on the screen door of that house, which has been removed, and a new key doorknob was put on the steel door. So who gave permission to do this? They literally have to take something to saw that padlock off, unless someone had the key for it. So my husband went up to them and asked them what they were doing. And he said, the young man said, "I'm moving in here." And my husband said, "Do you realize that this building is condemned? And the neighborhood here has been waiting for this house to be demolished." And these 3 gentlemen, one went off on the side and got on his telephone. And my husband said, "Do you want me to call the police?" And I do apologize because I wasn't there, I was out, but my husband should have called the police department at that time. But they said, no, we bought this property. I have paperwork. And my husband said, "Let me see it." "Oh, I don't have the paperwork here." So he said, "Well, I'm just letting you guys know, if you are in this house, you know, and you're going to be squatters or whatever, you could get in a lot of trouble." So on Friday, on August 10th, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, my husband came here to the borough. And as always, I don't get a lot of reception from the borough offices here, from the people downstairs. Not very helpful. Terry Romo, again, who's never in the office, never takes telephone calls, has his voicemail full all the time, was to call my husband back in a half an hour. Well, let's see, it's 10 to 8, Monday, no phone call, because guess what? He's on vacation again. So that's the job I want to be, because he's never here, he never calls anyone back, and he's always on vacation. So I'm here to ask you, can a house be sold if it's condemned? This house is in no condition for occupancy and is not in livable condition. Have all the inspections been completed? Utilities connected? Everything up to the borough codes? And has an occupancy permit been issued for this property? I looked on the Allegheny County website and I found information that this house was sold to Bridge House, Bridge House Properties on May 29th for $2,500. It was then sold, and I'm sorry, but I can't pronounce these names because the first name is like 12 letters, to 2 different people on June 22nd for $25,000. So my big question is, why wasn't this house demolished and taken care of earlier in the year like it was supposed to be? And how did these people go around to buy this house without anybody from the borough and Terry and anybody knowing about it? So, and I don't have a problem with having anyone buy a house and fix it up and move it in, because I live 2 houses over from Barb Magus's house that was a big hole in the wall when the woman moved up the street and has lived up there on D Street and left that house at a pot. But someone bought it, they fixed it up, 2 young guys moved in there, it looks decent. But I just feel that you guys owe someone owes an explanation for this. And then I have one other point. Since I'm here, I figured I might as well let you know something else that bothers me when I mentioned about the borough employees. I just think that they need to be talked to in the offices, because whenever you come down here, this is one example, and I had another example when I needed a new recycling bin. I came here 3 times, never a recycling bin. They were $5 and they go to $7, never a recycling bin to get. But no one took that upper step to make a phone call to them and say, hey, when are we getting more recycling bins? We've had people asking for recycling bins. So I went and bought my own recycling bin. And then the other thing I think that I see as a problem is, and I don't know if the borough has a procedure set up when department heads from the borough are out of the office, or on vacation, or out on sick, on the leave. Is there, in the electronic world today, you can set up a Google Calendar, and it could be kept by every member, and anyone who wants to look at it, the mayor, council people, the police department, they can look on there and see that that person isn't available, so we need to contact someone else. And I just think that something like that, if it isn't in place, it should be put in place. And that's all I have to say.
We are investigating that property out there. So, Steve, do you have your phone number? Okay, Steve has your phone number. As soon as we get to the bottom of it, we will let you know.
Okay.
Okay, because we are working on that.
Because there is an electric meter on the side. No, it's been there, so that doesn't mean that there's electric in the building. But, there's a lot of things that need done there before someone can move in.
Right.
And if I see anyone move in that building, especially with a small child like that, I will turn them into the health department.
Well, they have to have documents.
Yeah.
So, and they don't, so.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Okay. So if Steve has your number, when we get to the bottom of everything, we'll let you know.
All right. Thanks.
Okay?
To answer one of your questions, we asked our solicitor earlier today, can a house be sold if it's condemned? The answer is yes. A house can be sold if it's condemned. The only time that you have to have an occupancy permit in place when there's a sale is if there's a bank involved and there's a loan.
No, Carnegie says you always have to have a occupancy.
No, for a sale to take place.
That's right.
But the...
I know the people that bought it live up on Cabot Street, 460 Cabot Street.
I don't know, I'm just saying, if you and I make a deal and want to sell a building to each other, and it's all in cash, do whatever we want, and whoever's buying it can take
It's
the
fine
risk.
if they're going to do it, if they're going to take it and fix it up. It doesn't sit there.
Oh, I agree with you.
Rent it and try to rent it to somebody. My husband felt bad for this young guy, and it was a little bit, and he had a Carlington shirt on. I don't know whether he went to Carlington. He had a Carlington t-shirt on, and he said, oh, I have a Carlington t-shirt on. My husband said, anybody can buy a Carlington t-shirt. But, it was a young kid. He said, if you look 19 years old, that's about it. And you hate to just see a young family get taken for their money, which they probably don't have a lot of money.
And they do have to have the inspections.
Period.
Which is
I don't think you can even go to the house right now for the smell still in that house, even though it's been cleaned out. But, and I don't know who cleaned it out. If these people didn't buy it till the end of May. And in June, someone was in there in April and cleaned, it was They had 3 big big garbage dump trucks that took everything out of there. So, that's it, thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah May, back again this month. I just wanted to let you know the wall is still in the creek. I spoke to Steve last week, and he told me that the gentleman, Mr. Sykes, was supposed to contact me regarding they were going to come out and inspect the property, and they were going to supposedly get some bids to see how much of the repair would cost. And as of today, I still haven't heard from Mr. Sykes at all.
He had asked me for your contact, to contact you, so I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Okay. I mean, we're still, I was worried, like I told him, I was worrying about the rain washing everything out. Well, with all the dry weather now, everything's just crumbling. So I don't even have, like, how it had the ledge and then it kind of cut back. It's just straight and it just keeps crumbling away. And I just don't understand why. It's been 2 months. And that the wall that's in the creek, when the creek is really low, it's kind of made like a little corner. And the water gets really stagnant and it's a little nasty. So until the creek rises up enough to wash it out, then now you have to deal with that too. I just think it's crazy. I mean, the Army Corps just keeps giving us a runaround, giving him a runaround.
Is that on the Army Corps side?
So, and you did say that they were going to get prices. Does that mean are they going to accept responsibility and fix it, or are they going to look at it and say, well, this is too much, I think it's going to be her responsibility?
I took it as they were getting bids on their behalf, not the property owner.
Okay.
I'll call Mr. Sykes tomorrow and see what's going on.
Okay, I agree.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just want to bring it up to the date. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, good evening. I was going to say on a lighter note, but this actually has to do with career counseling for those who are underemployed and unemployed, so you can see it as a glass half full as well. My name's Jeannie Williams. I'm a Carnegie resident. I live in 107 Cathedral Court, and I'm a career counselor at JFCS Career Development Center. And I just want to, first of all, thank everyone who is in front of me, a lot of people behind me as well, who are really trying to support this effort. At Career Development Center, we actually are funded with a program called Work Able. Literally, if you're able to work, we can help you as career counselors. So it is funded through United Way, and we've had these grants renew year after year. We were already in the north, the south, and the east. So I have been trying for 2 years to get them out west, and finally we got an okay. So then, after talking to a couple people, and also our former mayor, I talked to Maggie, there's so many people here, and of course everybody who's sitting in front of me. Steve has been wonderful. Long story short, we are able to come here every Friday and offer our assistance. So if anybody is underemployed, unemployed, knows anyone who could use these services, they will work with me and we will come up with a career plan right here. It's actually in this room on Fridays. And I will also, because it's open 24 hours a day here, I'm going to be flexible with the needs of those who are working during the day, maybe need to meet me in the evening, not at 3 in the morning. There's some limits. But I just wanted to thank each of you. If you haven't seen the flyer, I'll just, if you don't mind, pass these out. And the flyers are also right when you walk out now. So please take a look. For those who have businesses, if you think it will behoove you to advertise
I really appreciate it. We need this to succeed. So again, thanks to everybody who had a part in this. I know Mayor that we've talked about it a long time, and also Judge. We've talked about it for a long, long time. Now it's come to fruition. So we want to help not only Carnegie unemployed to have viable work, but even our surrounding areas, our surrounding communities. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll give you a break. They don't call it, it's too late.
That's over here. Maybe you have anything? No?
Yeah, I have one thing that I've got in my head, and I haven't done anything about it yet, but I'm going to. Actually, I have two things in my head that I'm going to do something about. The first one is something that's always on our mind is trying to save money for the borough, whenever you get the opportunity to save money. I don't know what we can do, but I'm going to dig into it. But there's this law in Pennsylvania that when you advertise, and pretty much everything we do here in the borough, we have to advertise. We voted tonight to advertise an ordinance. If we want to hire somebody, we have to advertise. If we want to get a hole dug that costs more than, I forget what the limit is, a certain amount of money, we have to advertise to get that done. And since there's only one resource right now that allows us to advertise, that's the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, because they're the only newspaper that meets the minimum criteria. Even though the signal item is delivered to everybody in Carnegie's house, the criteria that it's lacking.
It's not. I just found this out recently. Not every resident, well, I don't want to raise your parade. Sorry.
Would you like to go ahead?
A lot of residents.
Okay.
It's supposed to be delivered to everybody.
Okay.
Anyhow, the criteria that's required is that it be available daily and sold. So, signal item's not free, or not sold, so it's free, so it doesn't qualify. The Post-Gazette is going to discontinue delivery every day, effective sometime in September. It's going to become a 5-day-a-week newspaper. So we may not even qualify if we advertise in the Post-Gazette.
Technically, I guess because they won't, there'll be digits available, which is where the legislature should go in the first instance. But that's something that you can change.
Yes, sir. And probably the only thing I can do is get everyone on council here to sign a letter and send it off to our state representatives and call it to their attention that if you look at our budget, we spend an awful lot of money on advertising. I venture to say that the advertising dollars could make a difference in other areas in the borough if we could advertise probably more effectively and more inexpensively. So the opportunity may be present for something like that to occur for us. So there's that. I forget what the other thing is, but if I think of it, I'll let you know.
Advertising.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, Paul, I'm thinking crop duster planes.
We could write it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they charge for that, but that's a possibility. Actually, we don't have anything other than, it's good. It's good when people come, because I mean the Hospital Library. You think we should know all, we don't. We don't get to all the sections of town and stuff. So when stuff's brought to our attention, we put our legal resources, our management into it. So when we get to the bottom of it, we'll have an answer. And I appreciate the business people coming. We love all the businesses that are here, and we try to work with everybody. It's just nice to have people here as opposed to speaking to an empty room. So, and I know that the mayor misses this, and he's glad to be here also.
That's all I have.
I only have one quick thing. I wasn't here last month because I had a death in the family, but I didn't get to thank everyone that helped with our July 3rd celebration. I don't know if any of you were up there, but it was really, really nice this year. And I wanted to personally thank our public works guys who are always going to normally donate their time. They don't get paid for it, and they're up there, all day helping us. I wanted to thank our mayor who was there all day helping. Mike was there. Emmett, DJ. Yes. Thank you. And I just wanted to, and our district justice back there helped me in the concession stand all day. So he was busy running around, and I just wanted to thank you, and I thank everybody that came to help that day. It was great, and I'm sure I'm missing someone, and I apologize if I do, but I just wanted to tell everyone thanks. That's all I have.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?